um, sad experience of Jesus in Nazareth, in his own hometown. There are two contrasting experiences of Jesus with his own town. The first one that you heard happened during the beginning of his ministry, and then the other one will occur at the end of the ministry after 3 years. They are two contrasting experiences. What we will do is go back to the text and the narrative, and we will find the surrounding circumstances of this experience and the sad reaction of the people that made Jesus so furious and left the town. We will go into the events that happened here and why did he go back to his hometown. And then we will go to the other experience of Jesus at the end of the ministry. This time it's different. And there are two important lessons we can learn very briefly here on the characteristic of successful people. How Jesus handled the situation and reversed, the events. So first, Jesus, he was just baptized here, and then he just came down from the desert, the wilderness, after 40 days and 40 nights. And so he is now beginning, he's 31, he is now beginning his public ministry. And he thought that now he was given power, he can perform miracles, multiply bread, he can heal the sick. So he thought that the first beneficiaries of these powers will be his own people and his own relatives and friends and classmates. So he decided to go back to Nazareth, a simple, humble town on the top of the hill. And he thought, I will first minister to my province in Galilee, and then the first ones who will benefit from all these powers will be my own people. So he went in there on the weekend of in the synagogue where people were gathered. He volunteered to do the reading, proclamation of the book of the law. And then he opened the scroll. He went to the podium, opened the scroll of Isaiah on the section of the Emmanuel, of the Messiah, that speaks of freedom to captives, liberty. It speaks of healing and glory and proclamation of the year of the Lord, a year of favor of the Lord. That is the text on the Messiah. And then the Emmanuel. He closed the scroll and he looked everyone, the people who knew him, his classmates, his relatives. He said, this text is now fulfilled in your hearing. As you hear this, this is now fulfilled, which means I am the one sent by God, promised by God, the Emmanuel, the Messiah. And the people looked at him in the eyes and said, what are you talking about? Who in the world do you think you are? We know your father is a poor carpenter. Your mother doesn't have a job. She was clothes. You're a poor guy from this town. And who in the world? Proclamation of the year of favor of the Lord. They insulted him. They cannot take him. We know who you are. You are nothing. You are nobody. And Jesus, threw the question back, he said, you people, a prophet has no honor except in his own country. But no miracles are done to you because you're hard-headed. There were no lepers cured among you because you look down on people. You belittle people. And then he was really full of power. So they pushed him close to the cliff, but Jesus looked at them and just went in their midst and left. He was full of power that time, that he said, since you are not accepting me, since you don't want me, he went to the pagan side of the territory, the region of Syrophoenicia by the shore. They are not Jews. They were pagans. And thousands of people surrounded him. Remember the woman who was sick, was bleeding for 12 years? Jesus did not even know. There was so many crowd. But he felt that the lady touched his cloak. And he felt force came out of him. And that woman that spent all her fortune and no doctor can heal her was healed. Even the tip of his cloak was full of power. The fabric of his cloak was full of power, that it cured that woman. That's how powerful he was. It was given to the non-Jews, to the pagans, because he was rejected by his own people. Now, this will change. This will change. At the end of his ministry, after the cleansing of the temple, it was only days before after the temple, he went to Mount Tabor, and then Passion Sunday. So the conclusion of his ministry will be over. Remember the temple? He entered there. It was national Passover. So everybody from the entire country are all there. It is a national celebration. They travel with their caravans to attend the national Passover in the temple. And when Jesus entered, what did he see? He see in the square buying and selling. Animals and money changing, and he overturned the table and got a whip made of cords, and he lashed on the people there. And the temple officials called the Sanhedrin, the police, to handle him. But the people knew he was right, so they protected him. The people barricaded around him. And they knew he was doing right. He was appreciated by the people. My house is a house of prayer. You made it a den of thieves. The people knew he was right, so they protected him. And they applauded him. This guy is brave. And the police, the Sanhedrin, cannot do anything. So they were able to go. Some of those people were from Nazareth that saw it. Some of those people who attended the Passover were his townsfolk from his town. So they apologized to him. That happened 3 years ago. He said, come back to us. We'll have a banquet for you. Okay? We'll hold a concert for you. They apologized to him. So that was he returned, and he was well accepted because the people saw, that he was appreciated for doing what is right and good. This time, he was received well. So 2 lessons we can learn here very briefly. Characteristic of successful people. Number 1, don't give up on the first failure. Don't give up the first time you fail. Rise up and build again. Don't give up on the first failure. Second, Successful people, you have to prove something to yourself. It's not what others say. You have something to prove to yourself. And the people who don't believe in you, you have to prove to them that they are wrong. That's what Jesus did. You have to prove to them that you are right and that they are wrong. And Jesus succeeded in this mission. Something we can learn in our own lives. Please stand for the creed. I believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages,